As after so many recent tragedies, what is particularly moving when you look on social media is the appeals that are being made for news of family, for friends, of loved ones. Amongst those posting yesterday an appeal for information about someone very important to him was the Labour MP for Tottenham, David Lammy. And David joins us on the line. You're still hoping for news of a very close friend of your family?
Yes, Khadija Say and her mother Mary. I've known Khadija for a number of years. She's 24. She was an intern and an employee of my wife's. A beautiful young woman with an amazing career ahead of her, wonderful artist. Her work's on show in Venice at the moment, and we've heard nothing. And obviously, as the seconds pass, we grow more sad and bleak at every second, really.
And are you at the stage, David, where it makes sense for you to call around the hospitals, to call the community centres and elsewhere, or do you just have to sit and wait?
We've been calling the hospitals, but I know from my own experience after the London riots that people will be in hospital with no belongings. Many of them will be unconscious. So, of course, we hope and pray that she is amongst them and not perished in that building, as I suspect hundreds will have done by the end of this count.
I fear that's right. The news coming this morning from the London Fire Commissioner, and I don't think this will come as a shock or surprise to you or anybody else, is that they're still looking for unknown numbers of people and don't expect to find anybody else in that tower block alive. So the hopes rest outside the block. Speaking just briefly as a politician rather than someone who's anxious about someone very close to you, it's easy in the light of something like this, particularly if you live in central London, to look at the plight of people often quite poor in an estate like that, compared with great riches next to it. Is that the right way to look at it, though? Or may it be nothing to do with the social divides that exist in a big city like this?
Nick, it is the right way to look at it, but what I would say is these aren't the poorest Londoners. The poorest Londoners are in houses of multiple occupation in private tenancies. These are poor Londoners, but they're the lucky ones who actually are in social housing. Most of them will be the working poor in London, so this is absolutely the face of poverty. But this is the richest borough in our country, treating its citizens in this way, and we should call it what it is. It's corporate manslaughter. That's what it is. And there should be arrests made, frankly. It is an outrage. Many of us across the country have been caught up in an election, knocking on housing estate doors right across the country, travelling up to the top floors of tower blocks. And we know as politicians that the conditions in this country are unacceptable.
David.
We built buildings in the 70s. Those 70s buildings, many of them should be demolished. They haven't got easy fire escapes. They've got no sprinklers. It's totally unacceptable in Britain that this is allowed to happen and people lose their lives in this way. And people should be held to account. They should be held to account, Nick.
And I'm sure they will. No, you should clearly feel very, very strongly about it, and that's a discussion, argument that we will have in the hours and days to come. David Lammy, thank you so much for joining us to talk about your friend.
The time is now 13 minutes to 9.